Morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. For everybody who does not know Alyssa, just go ahead and give us a little bit of a spiel on, a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing insurance, and maybe what your biggest month is so far.
My name's Alyssa Currin. I'm 19 years old. I'm a full college student and a full-time writer here at Pinnacle. I'm on Believe and Endeavor. I'm at a little bit under 200K issue pay for the year. My biggest month so far, I think, is 78. And then this year I'm going for President's Club, obviously. And then yesterday I did about 11.8 yesterday on my run day. So
Wait, yesterday in the day you did 11?
yeah, 11.8 yesterday.
I love how she just like casually, subtly drops that.
We had a
So
show out. We knew I had today coming.
of course.
So
Let's see if anybody's beat her in the chat. If you beat her daily yesterday, drop it in the chat because I don't think anybody did, which is why we have you on the call today. So I really wanted to have Alyssa on because she is somebody who has like priorities straight. Like if you guys didn't hear her, I don't know if she's breaking up for other people. It is me a little bit, but I was able to pick it together. Literally 19 years old, full-time college student, full time in insurance. So you're able to do both. Like nothing is stopping you. What would you say your
mhm.
biggest struggles were like coming into the insurance industry? And how long ago did you start actually?
I've been writing for a year, and then I was a dial for 6 months before I started writing. So I hit a year last month of writing. I would say definitely like my biggest struggle at the beginning was definitely my mentality. I used to call Mindy like crying a lot. So that was definitely like my biggest struggle. But overall, I saw what the business did for people, and so I knew that I wanted that to be me. So I just kept pushing through, and honestly, like any challenges I faced, the win was gonna totally outweigh the challenges at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Can
let's
you
talk
guys
about
hear
that a little
me?
bit.
I feel like I'm breaking up.
You are breaking up for me, but I can still hear you. Is she breaking up for anybody else? Because it also could be my Wi-Fi. Somebody give me like a thumbs up, thumbs down, I guess. Pretty good, not good.
Here, I switched
All
over
right.
my Wi-Fi.
Allison said good. She's my only, Sean Connor said good. It is my only two thumbs up. She's breaking up a tad. You know what? It'll be fine. We'll just talk a little bit slow. And if we have to repeat things, we can. And we'll just roll with it.
Okay.
Um, so I want to talk a little bit more about like, the beginning struggles of like, the mentality. We have a lot of like new agents on the team, and I think a lot of them, do struggle in that. So like how long did it take you to overcome that? And what are some like maybe like a couple specific practices that you did to kind of like realize like I don't need to be crying over this anymore?
Yeah, for sure. So at the beginning, definitely was definitely hard getting rejected so much. With this, it was important for me at the beginning. I surrounded myself by the top producers. Honestly, this like insurance game, it's really just a game of copycat. Like no one is out here doing something like totally brand new that no one's ever seen before. So I just kind of took all the attributes that I liked of the top producers and I kind of made them my own. At the beginning, I think it's definitely hard because you are going through so many changes. You're betting on yourself for the first time. So I think it's really easy to kind of just make it super emotional. But the best thing that I did for myself was I started tracking my numbers so that I could start putting the numbers in my favor. Like a lot of people just think, okay, I'll buy some leads, I'll make some dials, and they are really inconsistent just because they don't know the input that they have to have in order to hit those big weeks consistently. So for me, every single week I started tracking my data. I tracked a lot. I took some of your spreadsheet, Claudia, and I kind of made it my own. So I took the data and I was like, okay, so I need to spend this much on leads. I need to dial these many peoples. I need to have these many sets. And then I started mastering my show ratio, once I got my show ratio where I wanted it to be, I worked with Ryan Koski to get my clothes where I'm trying to get it to be. Currently, it's still a work in progress right now. So,
What is your current close rate? Now I just have to ask.
yeah, my close rate currently is 65, but my show ratio is 83 right now. So,
Not where I want it to be. It's still better than Ryan's. You know, Ryan's industry wide is like 44%.
yeah, that's not Believe's average. So, we always shoot for higher.
Oh, I love that. So you have, wait, so you have an 85% show rate?
Yeah, on average an 85. And then between me and my I have a dialer, she just started this week and she's amazing. I just trained her like 2 days and then I let her at the phones. But she has this last week she had a 75% show ratio and then I closed 2 of the deals that she booked for me. So it's definitely transferable to say the least.
Yeah, no, that's super, dude. I did not realize that like your close was that high. That's super impressive. So, you know, I honestly want to dig deeper into both of those because I can tell you a lot of the people on this call, although a lot of our team is going for the one call close. I think you can go
Yeah.
for the one call close and still have a strong show rate if you have to book an appointment. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of agents can improve in that show rate. I even know my show rate whenever I was booking appointments, you know, virtually, I was like 40. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Mindy would probably like murder me if she heard that. She's on here. So let's talk a little bit more about the show rate and like how you were able to get it so high. I know Mindy talked about her tie downs yesterday on like the morning call briefly. Is yours the exact same, or do you kind of have like your own little Alyssa spin to it?
So mine are pretty much the exact same. I have one extra one in there, and it's just the I reserve this time for you, and I ask that you do the same for me. So it's pretty much the exact same thing,
All right,
but it's
let's,
just
let's run it back for the people who didn't hear Mindy say it yesterday. So like, let's say you're booking an appointment with me.
yeah, for sure. So I just tell them I'm like, okay, so grab a piece of paper and pen. I'm gonna have you write down a couple things, then you're gonna be all set. Okay. So
All
just
right.
let me know when you're ready.
All right, I have it ready.
All right, perfect. So I have that security code for you, and it's gonna be S as in sky,
Okay.
and then C as in cloud,
Okay.
06,
Okay.
2, 1,
Okay.
and then just write my name Alyssa. Okay,
Okay.
and then just write down tomorrow,
Okay.
between 6 and 7 p.m.
Okay.
And then do you want me to call this number right here, ending in 1234?
Yes.
Okay, and you do get text on this line, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna text you when I'm about 10 minutes out from wrapping up that appointment. That is just right before you. And I'll call you anywhere between 6 and 7. So if you will, just please make sure that you're putting this in your calendar and setting an alarm. Just something like that, just so we don't miss each other. That would be great. I do just reserve this time for you, and I ask that you do the same for me, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. So I'm going to talk to you tomorrow between 6 and 7, and I hope you have a great night, okay?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that's about it. And then if they're driving, it's the same thing. I do everything the same, except I text them over a code, and then I tell them to give me a thumbs up when they get it.
Nice. I wanted to highlight something. I know it was Mindy talked about it a little bit yesterday. But something so huge that she did that I was trying to like see if she would budge and she didn't. As I was like sitting there, I was being quiet, seeing if she would like say anything. And Mindy talks about this, you know, you don't like you're waiting for them to say, okay, like got it,
Mm-hmm.
moving on. Because
Mm-hmm.
if they're not, then they're not paying attention. Um, and then
Yeah.
going slow. Like she literally went like 2 letters, 2 numbers at a time, waited for me to confirm before she went through with it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
want every agent on this call, if you weren't taking notes on that, I want you to write that down so that you can also improve in that area. Same for
Mhm.
in employment benefits when you have them write it down for the one call close. Yeah, exactly. So just slow and make sure they're paying attention.
Yeah.
So and then, you know, being full-time in college, I just want to kind of like rewind a little bit. Being full-time in college and full-time in this, like let's talk about like your schedule a little bit. Like how is it that you're able to do what you do as much as you do while
Mhm.
doing both? Because like, I mean, I follow you on Instagram, like you are social with like your friends still. Like I assume you're probably having good grades. Maybe you're not.
Yeah.
No. And then you're also producing at a high level. So like, what does that schedule look like?
So definitely my schedule for my school and my summer schedule, they do look different, obviously. For school year, I only work 5 days a week. I have ministry, I have like 12 out 15-hour ministry days on Saturday and Sunday. So I don't have any time to run appointments on the weekends. Um, but with this, I have class from 8 to 1. I get up around 6. I have class from 8 to 1. And then I have like in between a class, I will go and pack up all my work stuff and lay out like a hoodie or something like that to change for work. And then as soon as my last class ends, I'm heading to my dorm. I grab all my stuff, I head to the Munster office, which is like 15-20 minutes away, or I head to my house and I work from my home office, or I just work at the college. It really just depends. And so then I'm running appointments. I run from 2 to 10, like I work 2 to 10 consistently, whether it's running appointments, dialing, things like that. And then from 10 to 11, I do try to do any admin work that I have, like let slip or fall behind, or any policy closes that need to be rewritten because it got declined. I usually do that from like 10 to 11. And then from like 11 to 1 a.m., it's me getting my homework done, or me doing dishes, or me doing my laundry, or hanging out with my friends. And then I don't sleep a lot I definitely had like an energy drink like problem during the school year.
Kept on going. I'm over here
Yeah,
like
so
writing it down.
yeah, so it just keeps going. But on Saturdays I do get to sleep until like 8, which is really nice. And then Sundays I get up at like 5. So I don't really like, the school year is a grind and I do love it. Sometimes like I'll go in later to ministry to get like a full 8 hours. But besides that, that's really my work schedule. The reason that I do my show ratio, I worked so hard on my show ratio is because at that point it's just efficiency. Because if you have 12 hours and I have 8 hours and my show ratio is double yours, I'm gonna get just as many, if not more, presentations in. And so, like, the thing with being part time, it does get like a bad rap because people who are part time, they have like part time mindset. So for me, I'm going even harder and I'm working a lot harder than people who are full time, because I understand I only have a certain amount of hours to make it happen every day. So for me, I'm way more efficient. I'm putting in a lot more dials. I've compared my input to the guys at my office's input, and mine exceeds theirs, sometimes even 2 times more than theirs, just because I'm working that much harder to be able to get everything I do get done in one day. I really don't have a lot of time to waste, so I have to make sure it all gets done in 8 hours.
Yeah, no, and I want to like talk about that a little bit more. Being part-time, what is your non-negotiable weekly lead spend?
I do spend $2,500 on leads every week.
Oh, so just because you're part-time doesn't mean you're spending less a week?
No, you should probably be spending more.
Okay, writing that down. 2,500 a week. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what are like because you also mentioned your inputs and that your inputs are higher than other people's.
Mhm.
What are those non-negotiable, like either weekly or daily inputs that you are trying to hit?
Yeah, so I am only in school. I'm sorry, forgot to mention this. I'm only in school 4 days a week, just because I do take online classes to free up one day to be full time. So with this, on Mondays, I work 14 to 16 hours, just like catching up. My Mondays set myself up for success. So my Mondays are where I pop off 7, 8K. I still do regular 8K days when I'm part time. I run Mondays I dial pretty much all day, and then I'll run like 8 appointments at night. But I set like my Tuesday schedule. That has, oh gosh, that has 12 to 14 appointments. And then I run bare minimum 35 appointments a week. It does usually push to 30, between 35 and 40, but that's like my non-negotiables. I haven't been tracking my dials that closely lately because my goals and my non-negotiable is filling my schedule every week. So like on my run days in the summer, I run about 20 to 24 appointments on my run days, which are 3 days a week. And then on my dial days, I run 6 to 8 appointments.
And then, so if it's, let's say it's 35 to 40 appointments a week, you're probably sitting, I mean, what, with an 80% show rate, you're presenting to, I don't even know that math, 40 times 80%, like, I don't know, a lot of people a day. You're 35 people a week?
Yeah. Wait, 30. So if I run like 35 appointments, I'll probably.
I did it based on 40. So if we had 35 appointments times 85% close rate or show rate, you're sitting like 30 people a week, 29.
Yeah. And let's say I get sift arm by like 5 in the beginning, or they're like, I'm just not interested. I'm sitting
24.
Yeah. So I'm just getting a good amount of presentations in order to close a good amount.
Write all of this down. So it's so good. And so, yeah, she's a 40 to 50 appointment in the summer. Somebody asked what your close rate was, 85%. So with that though, because I want to like even take it a step further, you know, you said, okay, so we got the lead spend. And what leads are you running?
So I spend about 2K. No, I'm sorry. I spend about 1,200. I split my fresh vendor with my mom. So we just upped our fresh. So I spend about 1,200 a week on fresh, and then $1,300 in age. I run 1 month golds with Aria. So I run 1 month golds. I also spend about $2,000 a month on 3 month proven lockouts that me and my mom share. But honestly, on my full-time weeks, I have no problem spending 3,000. Just because I think last week, oh Mindy, how many? I think last week I ran 54 appointments during our VV lock-in, and then this week I've already ran 30 appointments this week so far.
Nice. Okay, so now I want to ask a question about that. You know, what keeps you going at like not only like a high level like with the work, but then also like school? Like like you said it, you're putting in more inputs than I see a lot of people doing part-time, and you have school on top of that, and like your like weekend ministry and your friends and like your social, and like you're super involved. So like what is keeping you going on like a daily basis, you know, with that? Like, how are you not thinking, oh, like I made this much money, like I can take a week off, or I don't have, I can sleep in today. I can go to bed at 9 o'clock instead of staying up until midnight tonight because of XYZ. Like, what is keeping you from not hitting that?
Yeah, so with me hitting my goals, like I have goals in every aspect of my life. Like I have to have like a friend goal. Like I try and FaceTime like my one friend a day for like 15 minutes to still be able to keep in touch with them. And then with school, I do love school. I love being in college with my friends and everything like that. So like I've already was in college with this. I went to the same school like Mindy and Gabe did. So I love the college experience, and honestly, this business is going to be here in like 2 years when I graduate.
School for recruiting. Like
yeah, so I'm in school for recruiting like Gabe and Mindy. I'm playing the long game here, okay? Um, so I do want to finish school just because I love being with my friends. I want the college experience. But just because I'm in college doesn't mean that I'm going to stop scaling. Like I will continue to try and outright any person I want to in this business.
Is when someone at the college is like, so Alyssa, what are you going to do after school? Are you going to teach? Or like, what are your plans for a career? And she's like, depositing 40, 50 grand every month. Yeah, I'm probably not going to teach, but thank you for
Probably,
asking.
probably not, but good question.
Good question.
Good
Next.
I'm
question.
not sure. We'll see where God leads.
Real. It's looking like insurance. So, what was I saying? I can't remember.
I think we were just talking about like the disciplines and staying high level everywhere. You were just talking
Yes.
about school work. Oh, you're gonna outright everybody.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm very competitive, so that does keep me going. Like I like being on the boards and things like that. But not only that, like I came in at 17, I was a dialer and I wanted to be the youngest PC member, which when I hit it this year I will be. So
You're 19.
yeah, I'm 19.
Okay.
So Caleb was 21, I think 21, 22 when he hit it. So with this, like I've had the long-term goals that I'm starting to check off, but also I have the daily goals, the hourly goals, the weekly goals, the monthly goals, the quarterly goals. So overall, I'm able to accomplish a lot in a year because all of my effort is concentrated. So like I have an hour to knock out an assignment. I have an hour to set 5 appointments. Like it's all just kind of like a reset game of me focusing on and zoning in on one certain thing.
Dude, that is so impressive. So you mentioned all your goals. So like what are some of your goals that you have this year? We are June, you said you're close to 200. You mentioned President's Club. What else is kind of in the goal list for you?
So I had like a goal for like trainings and people's like calls I want to be on. So I had that goal for doing trainings, and then obviously my quarterly goal is to be 200 by the end of the month to keep in line with PC pace. And then so PCs this year I'm looking at growing my social media for recruiting, gearing up for recruiting next year. And then next year I'm going to be diving into recruiting, building a team, and then doing health and getting into all of that. I have a goal to close 5 advanced retirement strategies this year. So I've clicked off 2, almost 3 out of the other one because the other one's still in the pipeline right now. But just like I have the goals, I'm still like, I keep adding my goals. Every time I tick off a goal, I add a new one and different things like that.
That's nice. So you just have like a running list. Like there's never going to be a day where you have hit all your goals because you're just constantly adding to the list.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to tick off goals. Like that's obviously the point of it. But when you tick off a goal, it's important to not become complacent in your goals and continue to add on. Or just at that point, if you're just complacent, you're just going to be average, and being average really sucks. So no one wants to do that, obviously.
I think some people might be fine with being average. I don't know. Who wants to outright Alyssa?
Yeah, you're in the wrong business if you want to be average. So
yeah. So let me see. And then so you mentioned, you know, those are the goals. You're at 200. You know, what do you have like specific like monthly goals, or what does that kind of look like?
yeah, so my monthly goals, like when I'm doing my monthly goals, I really don't focus on the output. I focus on the input. So when me and Mindy sat down and set our sights on PC this year, it was a 30 appointment count goal during my school year. And I've set for myself personally for the summer, I run about 50 to 60, and that's my non-negotiable. So with me, I always have 50 appointments a week. I'm going to run 200 appointments a month. And then having like that small goal. Obviously, if I'm controlling my inputs, my outputs are going to continue to stay at a high level. So with me controlling my dials, my lead spend, and my appointment count, obviously I'm going to get the results I want because I've tracked the numbers down to a science to get the result that I want. Obviously, you're going to have fluke weeks. I had a kind of like a fluke week last week and I only did 11. But I told Mindy, I was like, I know at the beginning of the week, I'm like, I'm having a fluke week, like I'm closing at a lower ratio. So I just like ramped up my input to be able to still level off at above 10K. So like I just did what was necessary to still hit the goal I had.
I'm actually so glad that you just mentioned that, because I think where a lot of agents struggle, I just talked to somebody about this like last week. He like went like so many presentations and wasn't closing and came to me and was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. like, how do you differentiate, or I guess like in the beginning, you probably like know your flow now, but like in the beginning, how did you differentiate it being a fluke week versus it's actually a problem and like a problem that needs to be fixed? Like how are you differentiating, the difference between those?
So with this, Mindy knows that like I'm always worried about there being a problem. So we do take like a close look at my numbers. I texted her last week. I'm like, I'm having a fluke week. Like I don't know what's going on. Like my input is the exact same. I was like, I'm even ramping it up. I think when you're having like watch and see if there's a pattern. Like there was a time in the school year where I was like ceilinged at 8K 2 weeks in a row. Mindy was like, hey, I was like listening to myself. I'm like, oh, like that line doesn't sound right. Like that doesn't sound good. So like I need to tweak that. Like I did a small tweak and I was fine. I don't think that you should be changing your lead spend or your scripts every month. Like when you have some form of consistency, that's always going to be able to help you out in the long run. Just because when you're naturally consistent and then you have like a fluke week, you're like, it's not the process that's broken usually, it's usually you. So whether it's a small tweak with you, like I was getting commission breath just because I was stressed about PC. And I was just talking to Mindy. I was like, oh, I'm stressed about PC. I have commission breath. Like that kind of stuff. That was like the small tweak. But I've also added in this year, like my why building has gotten better. Like I've been focusing on that. I added in, there's a new word track I'm testing out. If I feel like I want to add something into my script, I add in like one small thing at a time and then give it a month. So, the word track that I've added in this month that it has helped me close more deals is like, am I correct in assuming? And that's Jonah's line. So like the, am I correct in assuming? And then the, just looking at the situation here. Those are the 2 word tracks that I've added here. And those have really helped with like my young couples that are obviously screwed, but they don't have the brains to register that. So when you're like just looking at the situation, you bring in this, mortgage is that, like that, those 2 have helped me, and those have consistently helped me close like a couple more deals every week with those 2 lines. So it's just implementing things from top producers.
Yeah, no, that's definitely huge. Just looking at the situation here, if I had $1 for every time I heard that word in my house, because like that is like the golden line.
Yeah.
And when you're having those fluke weeks, so like you said, like you're like going to Mindy, like getting a little frustrated, or like when you have those 2 8K weeks like back to back, what do you do like when you start to like feel yourself like getting frustrated or like discouraged or even like just tired? Like, dude, your schedule, like I would be tired.
Yeah. I last week I felt like I understood what it was. I had a fluke week, and then at the beginning I was like, I'm feeling pressure. I had 4 people, 4? Yeah, 4 people fly up from Florida to train with me for a week. So I was like, I'm feeling the pressure to like look fancy and like do fancy lines. I'm like, which didn't really change anything. I just felt like my tonality was off. So I was like, I'm feeling the pressure. So like I just need to chill, relax. I locked myself in a room, didn't let them listen to me for like whole day. And I closed 5 back to back. Like it wasn't anything that like my script, my word track, it wasn't that problem. It was me. So like I have to, when you are so consistent, you can tell when something small is off. Like you can tweak it because you just do the same thing over and over and over again. Like success is made in the mundane and boring routines. So when you finally get to register that, that helps a lot. But for me, I look at my goals, and when I'm feeling run down, I look at everything I've accomplished. Like I'll listen to like a podcast by like the top producers. Like I'll listen to Ryan or Jonah's or Mike's podcast or Gabe's. Like I'll listen to something, or I'll just like listen to one of my favorite songs and things like that. I'll just listen to something. I'll remind myself of why I'm doing it. Like I do want to hit President's Club every morning, like when I get up at 5. I'm thinking about President's Club. Like I have like a list of like my pump up songs, and I think about President's Club for like 45 minutes a day. Like that's all in my mind, because I'm imagining it and I'm just going to manifest it and it's going to happen. And then I have in a book with Mindy that she made me start. It's me writing, I will hit President's Club. And then I just write that down every single day. I'm going to hit President's Club and I'll make it happen, just because I've manifested it every day for 45 minutes a day. And then I write it down. And then also my activity and my input matches that of a President's Club member.
Dude,
So
amen to that. I am just so, dude, when I'm feeling tired, I'm about to remind myself of you, because that is like your mom just dropped in the chat. You are also going to the gym at 5 o'clock. So it's not like you're staying up till 1 and sleeping till 10. Like, dude, no, like you're up at 5, or I guess up before 5. I don't know if you're in the gym at 5. That's so
like 4:45, 5.
yeah. Like it's like 4 hours of sleep. It's fine. You know what? You're young. You're 19.
Yeah,
Go
well, I go to
back
bed
in the
at like
car.
9:30. I usually am done running appointments at 9. And on my run days, I do run from my house. My bed is like right there. So I'm running from my house on my run days, so I can run as long as I want, because the office does close down at 8. So I run as long as I want, and then I go right to bed and I get up and do it all again.
That's so good. All right. So we're pushing like 35 minutes. I want to open it up for questions. I think this is like a really good one where, I want to hear everything, but I've asked all of, so many. So let's open it up for questions. If you have a question for Alyssa, please drop it in the chat or unmute.
What would you say to the person who has like anxiety about spending more money on leads? Because it could sometimes be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Your lack of belief sucks. Like, it really does. So like a lot of people, they'll put their money into like stocks or real estate, things like that. Like, you don't have any controllables really in that, but I do have the controllable in myself. I do hand dial all of my leads. And then so like your lack of belief does suck. Like, and people will make a ton of excuses, but the people who do make the most excuses, they're the ones who are overcompensating for a weak work ethic. So just watch the people who do make the most excuses. They're never going to make it happen. They're too busy making excuses.
I love that. Yeah, and I like the way you phrase that, lack of belief in themselves, because I remember I had one agent, he asked me, he's like, Jonah, so what stocks and crypto are you investing in? And I freaked out on him. And I said exactly what you said. I said, you have more belief in the S&P 500 and so-and-so's business or this crypto meme coin than you do your own business. It's just a lack of belief in yourself. And so that's a really good way of putting it.
It's a lack of belief in your work ethic is what it is.
Yeah.
Work ethic, yes.
That's what it is.
I could take over the next 30 minutes on this call and hammer you with questions. I'm sad I didn't get to interview you. I was looking forward to this, but then I had
to do a part 2 or something.
Well, we will have to for sure, definitely. But I had a meeting I got to get to, so I was just hopping into the last part of this. So I don't know if Claudia, sounds like she asked you a little bit, and I didn't hear your full explanation. But let me ask you this, Alyssa, is like, what keeps you going on those bad days? What do you really think and reflect on? And honestly, what develops that dog in you? Because I can tell you're very disciplined. You got really big goals and you're dialed.
Yeah, so for me, I think a lot of new agents, they ask themselves, they're like, well, why me? Like, they're like, why me? I just don't understand. Like, I just don't think I can make it happen. They ask the wrong question. They're like, why me? But like, why not you? For me, I look at myself, I'm like, okay, so this year when you hit President's Club, you have that jacket on, you have that trophy on, all of these small moments, they are all going to add up and they're going to equal that. So either you can sit there and you can wallow in it. Honestly, I don't let myself wallow in it. I just dial and I keep going. Definitely on the hard days, like, it sucks. Like, I think a couple months ago, I just like went home and I was in a rut, and I was like crying on the way home, but I didn't cry on the phones. My activity was still the same. I'm like, I think that's fine, but like, I'm not crying every day. I'm controlling my controllables. I think when you're having a hard time, look to the bigger picture. Look to the big agency, look to the big office, look to the president's club jacket, look to the deposits. Like, dude, the deposits should be enough for now until you start growing, until your goals get bigger. But if you're new, like the deposits should do it for you. And if they don't, then you need to come up with some better goals. Like my goal, I want to buy my dad a car eventually. He's never had a new car. And that's one of my goals. So like just look to the higher. We do have a higher call, whether it's helping that family change their life or helping you change your life. Like it's going to do the same. So just look to the higher call and then just focus on that and keep going. Don't let yourself wallow in it. You're just going to defeat yourself with your mentality.
That's beautiful. Question on your sales tactics. Just out of curiosity, how much of a savage are you on the phones? Like, and what I mean by that. Okay, so like John and Mary, they're hitting you with some BS. Oh, she'd be fine. She's got her master's. She'd go back to work. You know, da 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 da. Are you just laying down the hammer?
Yeah, so like tell me. So I asked him, I'm like, so I asked the wife, so I'm like, okay, so John here says that you'd be fine, but how exactly is zero income okay for you? Like is that okay with you? She's gonna be like, no. Okay, perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the lowest option.
Can we role play that real quick?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go into building the why with me.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, like wait, like the beginning, like hey,
no, after the FI. After the FI.
After the FI. Okay, so Jonah, just looking here at the situation, you bring in about $8K a month. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then Claudia brings in about $2K a month. Is that also correct?
She does, yeah.
Okay, and then do you all currently have anything in place to help if one of you were to get sick and not be able to work?
No, I got life insurance through my work.
Life insurance. Okay, perfect. So that's actually really great to have in place. Life insurance is always going to be great to take advantage of. It's just kind of like that company car. We don't get to keep it when we leave, and it's super cheap. So definitely take advantage of it. Have you ever read like the contract or anything like that with your life insurance? No. Okay, perfect. So in all work life insurance, they only pay out if you are on the job and in very limited situations. So you'd actually be really lucky if that were to pay out. But obviously we're never going to be fully relying on that. Okay. And then looking here, the mortgage is about $2,500 a month. Is that correct? Okay. So Claudia, what would that look like for you if Jonah were to pass away and you were to have to make up that income and heck, even have to pay for a funeral out of pocket?
She'd be okay. She'd figure it out.
Be okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So Claudia, how is that going to look like for you? Because you're going to be the one left to deal with that. What are you going to do in order to make up that income?
I guess I would get another job.
Get another job. Okay. And so do you have any dependents in the home?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the average childcare, that's about like $3,000 a week. So that extra job alone, that's going to just pay for the childcare. You're not going to get any extra income with that. So with this, what we're going to do here is you're going to pick one of these options. We're going to submit that application and we're going to get all of this wrapped up here today. Okay. Is there any reason that yeah, no. So with this, it's not an open enrollment kind of thing. So it's not something that y'all can go and add on whenever. So which one out of these three is going to make the most sense for you today? Okay.
Hey, Alyssa, say your line when someone says, because this is really good and I had never heard it. Joda, I don't know if you've really heard it. Say your line when someone says, do we have to have this?
Oh, so with this, it's not like they're going to come and take away your home today. But once y'all miss 2 or more payments on the home, they will start the foreclosure process on the home. So this is the foreclosure preventative that we do put in place right after closing.
The foreclosure preventative. Say that one more time for the people in the back. Allow everybody to write that down. That was fire.
So with this, it's not like they're going to come and take away your home today. But once you miss 2 or more payments on the home and this isn't in place, they're going to start the foreclosure process on the home. So this is just the foreclosure preventative, always put in place after closing.
Your tonality was spot on that. I love that. Very good.
That
All
was
right. Well, that's all I got. Actually,
Um,
no, I got one more question for you, Alyssa. What would you say to all the 19, 20-year-old alpha males, high testosterone individuals on here that are not performing as much as you? Feel free to be as much of a
On
savage as you want.
Yeah, so you guys are like the full-time savages, but honestly, I think the part-time ones are more like showy, and they do look a lot cooler because they will outright your butt any day of the week. So unless you're putting in the input of a full-time savage, I don't think you can call yourself that. And there's no excuse because these moms and this college student will outright you. So honestly, stop calling yourself that.
Mic drop.
I think we just have to end the call right there. Let them marinate in that. No, but somebody did ask a good question in the chat, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on it, because I assume you probably didn't start writing 2,500 a week in lead, or spending 2,500 a week in leads.
No, most definitely.
What did you start, and how did you go to ramp up? Like, did you slowly ramp up? Did you just wake up one day after a good week of production and be like, all right, today's the day?
Oh, heck no. I started fresh, like, I think in February. So I hadn't even started writing fresh till February. I started at $1,000. $1,000 is really bare minimum if you want to do any production at all, or even write good production. So $1,000 is bare minimum. Any new agent really needs to be starting at 1,000, and if not, like, there's so many top producers that went out and hustled. I did not have the money to have $1,000 lead spend every week, so I went and I dialed for other people. My mom DoorDash, Robin cleans houses. We have a new girl, Autumn. She like freaking sells stuff on Marketplace to get her lead spend. And she's absolutely killing it. But so with this, like, you can make it happen if you want it to. So start at 1,000, then ramp up to 1,500. When you're writing 20K a month issuing, I would say ramp up to about 1,500. And then when you're trying to do 30K issue pay, start at 2,000. And then if you're wanting to do PC pace, then do $2,500. And then honestly, I have no problem spending $3,000 on leads in the summer because I know I'm going to get my return. And at that point, I'm just ramping up my volume to get my ROI.
That's awesome. That is so good. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to break that down, because a lot of people, I think, are kind of like stuck at that 500 a week. I don't know. Different numbers. Some people are just stuck at different numbers and don't really know like how to make that jump. So I'm glad to hear, I like that you said, when you're doing 20K a month, do 1,500. When you want to 30K a month, do 2,000 a week. And then if you want to hit PC, do 25. It's like, it's all obviously like based on like what your goal is. Like, so,
Yeah.
20K a month producer, do 1,500 a week.
Yeah. So like, just like the stagnant lead spend, it's really just complacency. They're comfortable where they're at. And so they're not willing to up that lead spend to level up. So if you want to level up your lead spend.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that. I missed this one. On dial days, how many leads are you calling, and how many times will you call a lead?
Okay, so on Mondays, I have my fresh leads. So I had about like 8 waiting for me yesterday. And then I dropped $1,300 in 1 month golds, which are $15 a pop. So I think I had like 60 or 70. Went through all of those. I actually only got through 40 because then I set my 6 for, I think I ran 6 on Monday, and then I ran 24 yesterday. So I spent like $1,300 and I already made 11 grand. So it's really not a problem to spend leads. Yeah, so I dial about 60 to 70. I also think you should be getting, like, I get it when you're young, when you're newer, like you're going to be starting at like kind of like the new leads, like the 7 to 12 months. But I think the better your skill set, you need to up your like lead quality, because at that point you do have the skill level to be performing and closing those bigger ones. My fresh leads, I think they're like $25 a lead. So I'm not out here spending $50, but I am closing a good bit on my fresh leads. So I'm definitely getting my ROI.
Nice. And then somebody asked, what leads do you dial? I think we kind of covered that. You said 1 month ARIA golds.
Yeah, 1 month golds, fresh silvers that I do get with my lead campaign, and then I do 3 month proven leads that are lockouts.
Are those fresh ones, are those digital or mail back or call in?
Call in from the mailers.
Nice. And I don't think I missed any other questions. Anybody else? I think I'm just reviewing the chat now. Make sure we didn't miss anybody. Going once. Going twice. All right.
I have a question.
Hit us.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scream at y'all.
It's
Okay.
all right.
So my name's Cam, as y'all know. Well, nice to meet y'all. So my big question is, what advice would you give to a current college student who does have a lot of responsibilities on campus, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so I have responsibilities with that. So I am having to kind of my schedule, that is my usual schedule, but it does have to be adjusted. I will take off an extra 2 hours like to go spend time with my friends. I'm obviously in college. I obviously still want to have fun. But my goals are also getting hit. So like my appointment count's still getting hit. To be quite honest, like I do understand that we do have responsibilities with college, but if you're not hitting your goals, you should not be going out with your friends at night. You shouldn't be going to hang out with your girlfriend or anything like that. You should be hitting your goals. And then if you're hitting your goals and you're like, okay, I do have like 2 hours where I can go spend here. I'm not going to hang out with my friends if I'm not hitting my goals. Midterms week, I do take off early 1 or 2 days. About 2 hours, but I'm still hitting my appointment count. I'm still hitting all of my goals, like my dial, my lead spend. None of that changes. The only thing that changes is my intensity to get all my goals hit. So honestly, you don't have any excuses. Like you can make it happen. Honestly, I don't know if up to this point there has been like a proof in the concept of a college student. But we're all for making that a first time thing. So at this point, there's a roadmap. You just got to follow it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That was so good. Yeah, honestly, guys, you just have to. Moral of I think all of this is spend more on leads and do what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Ain't rocket science. All right, guys. Well, don't think we have any other questions. Alyssa, thank you so much for coming on. I got so much. I'm probably gonna re-listen to this. Got so much out of this. I hope everybody else, probably re-listens to this as well. And you will be a reoccurring guest. And chat. But if somebody wants to challenge Alyssa in July, I think it could be fun. She said she's competitive. I don't know. We can
Very competitive.
Somebody can like. Oh
yeah, for sure.
Somebody said something.
Yeah, sorry, there's a little echo here on my end here. I want to challenge you, so she invited me in July.
Yeah, for sure. Well, July, I do have 4 weeks of back-to-back walk-ins, so we'll see what happens. I'm at 51K for the month so far. We've got like 3 or 4 more run days, so we'll see if anyone will beat that.
I want to see this. Evan and Alyssa head-to-head in the month of July. I don't know what the consequence or the reward's going to be. You guys can figure that out on your own, but I think that'd be fun to watch.
We're going to cut his hair off.
No, we're not doing that.
Wait, what did he say?
He said he's going to have to cut his hair off.
We're going to have to cut his hair off.
I'm keeping mine.
She said no, thank you.
We'll have to think of something better.
We'll brainstorm. All right, guys. Well, Alyssa, thank you so much, and hope everybody goes and kicks ass the rest of this week.
Thank you.